Good afternoon, YouTube. Bill back from the Ninth Circle with another video. It has been a while. It's been about a month since my last video. Just been super busy with work, with family, with band stuff, all that good stuff. But glad to finally be making a return. Just got a little collection update here for you. So what we are listening to in the background, the band is called Groli or Grole. So this is you can see that light there. So this is a side project of one of the gentlemen from Spectral Wound. There's the album. It is on Tour de Garde. The album title is With a Pike Upon My Shoulder. And it is, like most stuff on Tour de Garde, it's raw black metal. So we'll take the little sleeve out here. But there you go. Little photo there. But yeah, so one man project. It says dedicated to the fighting spirit of the hardworking Newfoundlander. So Canadian, of course. Like I said, a Spectral Wound, but yeah, fairly catchy stuff. The very first song was called The Frozen Land. The intro kind of starts out with a nice little like melodic solo and stuff. So anyway, that's what we're listening to. Groli With a Pike Upon My Shoulder. So let's get into the records here. We're going to be seeing a few returning bands from previous videos. So I'm gonna separate here. But first we're gonna start off. We're gonna get a little punk rock stuff. We're gonna do new punk rock and then some older punk hardcore stuff. So first up, a lot of people have been probably talking about this. Flower, their first album that's called Hardly a Dream here. This is on Profane Existence, came out this year. Comes in a nice fold-out poster sleeve. You can see there with artwork done by the vocalist of the band. Really cool. The artwork, of course, kind of reminds me a bit of Nick Blinko from Rudimentary Peni. Kind of got some of that style there, but musically, what this sounds like is Nausea. It sounds a lot like Nausea, classic Nausea. Female vocals, just really ripping, crunchy riffs. Very political lyrics, of course, especially you would expect that being on Profane Existence, which is a long-running anarcho-punk label. So, it doesn't sound exactly like Nausea. They don't have the dual male-female vocals and stuff. There's no reggae on this record, which, that'd be fine if there was. If you'll remember that Extinction record, Nausea kind of has a song that's like got a little reggae break in it, but it amazingly captures that era of kind of like late 80s, very early 90s, like US crusty hardcore, and does it really, really well. So hopefully I'll get a chance to see these guys at some point because they are awesome. Alright, next, again, a little more hardcore punk. This, of course, more of a classic thing, crossover. DRI's Four of a Kind. This is the reissue from a couple years ago. I want to say 2021, 2022. Something flew out there. Oh, yes. This little download code thing flew out of there. Whoops. What a faux pas. So, anyway, yeah, DRI, Four of a Kind. This would be the record that came out after Dealing With It. Dealing With It is definitely my favorite DRI record, I think, without a doubt. I mean, I love the Dirty Rotten LP and everything, but this, but that is great. This is really good too, actually, and this is a really good sounding reissue. Patrick Engel, Temple of Disharmony, he does a lot of mastering for like vinyl for reissues. He does a lot of stuff I think he does all the Iron Bonehead stuff, but he does tons of it. So he did this. Of course, this was originally released in, I believe, 1986 on Metal Blade. This reissue is on Metal Blade as well. Recorded by Bill Metoyer, who, of course, as you would know, recorded a lot of the early Slayer albums like Show No Mercy and Hell Awaits. He also worked with Dark Angel, so this is definitely a classic thrash production here. A lot of really good songs on here. Gone Too Long, Modern World, All for Nothing, Think for Yourself, Slumlord, Man Unkind. You know, this probably sees them, still having a pretty good foot in hardcore. Most people, like Thrash Zone, would be the next record after this, and a lot of people don't like Thrash Zone very much. I'm okay with it. I bought that same reissue as well. Sorry there, I'm like, hair in the face. Bought the Thrash Zone reissue, but I haven't broken it out to listen to it again. I hadn't owned that record in a long time, so... Anyway, DRI, Four of a Kind, an excellent record, though not my favorite. Alright, now we're going to get into a bit of death metal here. So I had said we would be seeing some returning bands, and we're going to see, like, Messiah, Rotten Parish here. So this is also a reissue on High Roller Records of this German death thrash band. This, so there's the cover there. The artwork kind of sucks, honestly. It's not very well executed. I mean, the idea is cool. So this is like a concept record, basically, that's all about people dying and, like, whether or not, based on, like, the kind of, like, how they've acted in life, going to heaven, or you know, if death is better for certain people. So it starts out, it's kind of bookended with this spoken word where it's a child, like, obviously reciting and kind of giving you a rundown of what all the songs are about, and kind of talking about whether or not God is going to grant mercy on these people. So it's a little the intro and the outro are a little creepy, you know, because I don't know what it is about kids narrating things or kids singing a lot of times in music, but it's just kind of creepy. I mean, I've got kids. I've got 2 kids, but, you know, I guess if I wanted to have something super creepy, I'd be having my kids narrate something. But anyway, one of the interesting things on this is there's a lot of acoustic guitar. There's a lot of acoustic interludes on this. You know, other than that, it's very similar to the other Messiah record I showed. You know, definitely channels a lot of that spiritual healing era death. Very much sounds like that. You know, like I said, it's got a little more attempt at being progressive here because of all the acoustic guitar passages and everything. The songs that probably stick out the most to me would be like For Those Who Will Fail, Deformed Creatures, Condemned Cell. Those are the ones that stick out the most to me. But this is, like I said, this was originally released in '92 on Sanctuary Records. So, like I said, this is a reissue on High Roller, and it definitely sounds like a 1992 era death metal record. But I enjoy it. I mean, it's not my favorite thing ever. You know, like I said, that death influence is really prominent. Sometimes I think maybe the acoustic interludes, acoustic passages, maybe get a bit excessive on this record, but overall, I dig it. Overall, it's good. Alright, next up, we got a pair here of records from, these are reissues, Macabre. I have the original CD of this, but, so this is Sinister Slaughter. This literally just got reissued, and I just got this yesterday. I just re-listened to this on vinyl. You know, I've had the CD for a long time, but I've never had a vinyl copy, so it's cool to have this vinyl reissue. This is on Nuclear Blast, because they are currently on Nuclear Blast. So, Sinister Slaughter is their second record. This was also originally from 1993, I believe. You get a gatefold in here, too, with lyrics. Of course, you've got the band themselves up there. You've got, you know, Dennis the Menace, Corporate Death, and, why can I not remember the bassist's name? Why am I spacing it? Oh yeah, Nefarious up front there. The cover, of course, is a spoof of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Of course, you've got, like, famous serial killers all over here. You got, like, Charlie Manson, Charlie up there, Edmund Kemper also right there. You know, you can see Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, all of them in there. And show you the vinyl there. It's kind of on a cool blue, like powder blue splatter with some gold and purple there. So if you don't know Macabre, though, I mean, you should definitely know Macabre. They are a death metal band from Downers Grove, Illinois, suburban Chicago area. I actually lived, when I was really young, lived in Downers Grove, because I'm from the Chicago area. That writes exclusively about serial killers. All of the songs are themed about various serial killers. And they also, besides being like really technically adept death, you know, having really technically adept death grindcore stuff, there's a lot, they do sorts of goofy nursery rhymes. There's lots of, you know, and that kind of comes into play a little later in the band's career. You kind of start to hear that. Like their first album, Gloom, is pretty straightforward, like death grind about serial killers. This, you really see them start to branch out and experiment, and they're really good musicians. Like, there's some pretty amazing classical guitar, like Spanish flamenco style guitar on this, and you're like, holy shit, this is awesome. And you know, the drumming's phenomenal, the bass playing is really good. Favorite songs, I mean, there's so many. I mean, I would say Zodiac, I really like that song a lot. Zodiac, Killing Spree, Postal Killer, about Patrick Sherrill, The Boston Strangler, that's like on side 1. Side 2, you've got Shotgun Peterson, I like that song a lot. The Dahmer song, What's That Smell? Of course, one of the classics, What the Heck, Richard Speck, 8 Nurses You Wrecked. That one is also phenomenal. The last song, Albert Was Worse Than Any Fish in the Sea, is like a magnum opus sort of thing. It has there's elements of black metal in that song, which is really cool. And it ends with like just this long, like several minutes of like field recordings of like rain and like wind and animals like calling in the night. So yeah, Macabre, Sinister Slaughter, fucking great album. And then also another Macabre record. This is Murder Metal. So this was their 2003 album that has been that was originally on Century of Mist, or Season of Mist. Why did I say Century of Mist? Season of Mist. But this is the Nuclear Blast reissue here. This is after Dahmer and all that sort of thing. So you'll see a photo of the band, them hanging out, eating there, looking like they always have that kind of Ed Gein kind of like backwoods redneck costume, you know. Really good songs on this one are Werewolf of Bedburg, Fatal Foot Fetish. That's the song I was thinking about. Sorry, Fritz Harman Der Metzger. I got it mixed up. That's the song that has like a black metal vibe and has like the long field recordings at the end of it. I'm mixing up the two albums because I listened to them both last night. So, Jack the Ripper, also a really good song. This one's on cool vinyl as well, though it came a little warped. So this is on clear with blood red splatter. You've got the custom labels, but yeah, it's a little warped. I don't know, and that's like a common thing that I see with a lot of these fucking records, new records nowadays, is you get them and they're warped. They're warped right out of the package. This definitely was. It's not bad. It's like a mild warp, but it's there. There's another record that I'll be showing a little later that's not warped, but I got it and it's got scuffing all over it. It's a brand new record. You take it out of the sleeve and it's scuffed up. I mean, granted, it didn't affect play, so I don't really care that much about it, but, you know, getting new records and having them kind of already be like subpar is a little frustrating. Cheers to the black tea. Alright, anyway, we'll jump here with a little more black metal before we get into or a little more death metal before we get into kind of the big black metal sort of thing here. Okay, next, Eternal Solstice with this EP, The Wish is Father to the Thought. This is a reissue as well on Dark Descent. This was originally recorded in 1994. This is a Dutch band. Like I said, this is an EP basically. It's 12 songs, or no, 10 songs, but they're all pretty short. This plays at like 45 RPM. Really good, thick, classic death metal. Like, this band, I had never heard of them really until this got reissued, but man, it just has that thick, chunky picture of the guys there on the back. Pretty cool artwork as well. Sorry, kind of show it off just on black, but it's just got that thick, chunky European vibe. It kind of reminds me a bit of stuff like Sinister, you know, like old Sinister, a little bit of Asphyx, not so doomy, but it's more like Sinister, a lot like that. But just, it hits the spot. The riffs hit really hard. Vocals are great. Favorite songs: Chamber of Morpheus on side 1, also Blasphemous Sermons on side 1. Side 2, Demonic Fertilizer and Path to Perdition. Really, really, really good stuff. Highly recommended if you're a death metal fan, you know. There's a lot of new death metal out nowadays, but man, I don't know. As much as I like death metal, and I like new death metal, a lot of this classic shit just hits harder. I don't know why, but it does. Last death metal thing here before we get into the black metal, and this is kind of more like this is more like Death Crust here. This is a band called Wilt. This is also on Profane Existence. Album does not have a title. It is just a self-titled record called by the band Wilt here. They are from Portland. Like I said, there's the front and back cover. Really cool artwork. You've got kind of this gas mask Grim Reaper on some sort of mutated stag riding through the wasteland there. Really good stuff. But this definitely, like I said, has a distinct death metal feel. These guys started out as more of just a straight up crust punk band, but this record is very, very death metal. It's kind of like, imagine, if you will, like a mix between 90s crust punk stuff like State of Fear and Resist, but with like Bolt Thrower, you know, like Realm of Chaos Boat Thrower and things like that. You can definitely hear elements of stuff kind of like Hellshock, you know, that kind of stuff there too. So yeah, but short little listen. It's actually on cool color vinyl, so let's take that out. I can show you. It's on kind of a sickly, kind of marbled, kind of like green, like kind of a piece, you know, kind of a lime, pissy, yellowy green, which is cool. Record was not expensive at all. I think I paid $12 for this, new. It was not used at all. It was very cheap. Got it off Profane Existence a few months ago with another order. So, but yeah, if you like stuff like Hellshock, you would probably dig this Wilt record. You know, like I said, it just has that cool apocalyptic crust vibe to it. So, Wilt from Portland. Alright, now, big old block of black metal here. I've got 4 black metal records I'm going to talk about quickly. This is a brand new release. This is Haxanu with the album Totenpass. This just came out this year. I'm trying to see what label it's on. Oh, it's on Amor Fati. Yes, so this is on Amor Fati. Really, really cool artwork there. Excellent artwork. Like I said, so this is a 2023 release. There you go. You get a photo of the band there with the inner sheath, that kind of stuff there. Like I said, this has kind of got a very melodic vibe to it. It definitely has kind of a Finnish feel to it. but it's got you know, it's not really raw sounding. It's very catchy, pretty well recorded, that sort of stuff. Somewhat reminiscent of, you know, of like some bands like Ring Air and things like that. So, but I really enjoyed this. You know, listening to it a bunch. So, Haxanu Totenpass on Amor Fati from this year. Alright, another returning album here, another returning band, Disaster, with their very first album that's called A Touch of Medieval Darkness. This is a 2 LP reissue that is out on, what is the label? MRI. So there you go. This is the very first album, A Touch of Medieval Darkness. This also has their original vocalist, Occulto, on it. You've got a picture of the dudes back here. There is Occulto right up there on that. You get an inner sheet here that has photos of the band recording and playing some live shows. This also, the second disc is a live performance as well. That's what side C and D are all live tracks. So, cool songs on this. The title track, A Touch of Medieval Darkness, is really good. Fields of Triumph, I like a lot. Devil's Sword. Visions in the Autumn as well. Yeah, really cool artwork there. Again, this is black thrash. You know, you could definitely hear the Norwegian vibe on this. Of course, it's, you know, it's like a mix of like Creator with like stuff like early Mayhem and Dark Throne and, you know, Marduk, all that kind of stuff. You know, some of the Swede stuff as well mixed in there, but really good stuff. You know, like I said, it's like looking at it, half the guys wear corpse paint and half of them don't, so it is kind of like an interesting mix of, it's almost like the thrash dudes don't wear the corpse paint, and the dudes that are really into the black metal stuff obviously wear the corpse paint. But that is an excellent record as well if you dig the other Disaster records that earlier. This was the record I was talking about that came scuffed. I ordered this direct from Black Lion Records in Sweden. This is a repress of the Kavayan album from last year that is called The Great Below. As I said on Black Lion, it came super scuffed. So this is very melodic black metal, very much kind of in that, and it's Swedish, and it very much is in the Swedish vibe of, even though it's debatable whether you want to call Dissection, Sacramentum, having anything to do with black metal, this is more of a black metal take on that sound, with really fast melodic riffing, you know, that kind of stuff. It's a really good album, though. I mean, I think the song In Silence is probably one of my favorites. That one, and Sulphur Fire, The Fire Within Him Burns, you know, really good stuff. I haven't heard the first record. A lot of people say the first one's better, because this was, I had heard about this end of last year, but the LP had sold out by the time I went to pick it up, so it's nice to have this reissue. But yeah, like I said, really melodic, blistering Swedish black metal. I just wish that a brand new record would not arrive super scuffed. It was in a paper sleeve, and that's probably why, because international shipping of something like that, it probably slid around in there, but that's why labels, it's worth spending the money getting a nicer rice paper inners, because then records don't get all fucked up. But just my 2 cents. Alright, one more record here. So this is the band Theriomorph with Diabolical Blood Swords. So this band features the guy behind the band Corniger, the band Corniger that used to be on Territor Possessions. This is also on Territor Possessions as well. This one I heard about from Simon in Explosive Action. He talked about this record in an update probably sometime last year. This is from 2022. Nice gatefold in there. This is a black metal, of course, but it doesn't really sound like Corniger too much. If you kind of know the Territor Possession sound, it definitely has that strong occult vibe to it that, like Celestial Bloodshed. Whoops, I put it in backwards. That's going to drive me nuts. A little too much OCD. Got to put it back in the right way. Like I said, really that strong occult vibe of stuff like Celestial Bloodshed, which kind of was one of the bands that put Territor on the map in the late aughts. Kind of a little more discordant riffing and things like that. Really well produced, not like raw sounding at all in that sense. It doesn't sound like Revenant Marquis or Lamp of Murmur or Black Salice or anything like that. So, but it is, it's a really good record. Like I said, if you're into the Territor Possession sound, like stuff like Celestial Bloodshed and maybe even some of the Norma Evangelium Diaboli stuff, like Deathspell Omega, maybe not as weird as Deathspell, but it definitely has some more progressive-y type elements to it. So that is highly recommended as well. So there you go. Whole bunch of records there. Just kind of a rundown of things I've been listening to over the last month or so. Just wanted to get a video out because, like I said, I just haven't had a chance, and stuff's stacking up that I'm listening to that I want to talk about. I'm not sure what the next video is going to be, man. I've been so busy, I haven't really been able to plan some stuff out. I really kind of wanted to start doing some video, like more like kind of like focusing on specific bands, like some discography stuff where I go and talk about every specific album for a band. I know those videos tend to be longer, and a lot of people don't necessarily like to engage with videos that are that long, but I don't know, it'd be kind of fun because I'm a nerd and I like the history aspect of music, and talking about that stuff would be cool. But if you have any of this stuff, if you listen to any of this stuff, go ahead and comment below. I'd love to hear what you got to say about it. I'm going to do a couple little quick shout-outs, too, to people that I think are doing some great work in the VC. I wanted to give a shout-out to Pieface Simon. Really cool dude. I've gotten a chance to watch some of his videos now, because he had commented on some videos, but I'd never watched his channel before. But really awesome stuff. Seems like a really cool guy. So shout out to Pieface. Also to Mordant Red, the channel and the band. Like, he's got some great production value. Like, holy shit. Like, the guy does, his videos look so professional and are very entertaining. The character that he plays. I mean, I'm sure there's, it's part of who he really is, but there's an element of playing a character there, and I love it, And the band is really cool too. Like, I need to buy that demo. So, Mordant Red, shout out to you, sir. But that's gonna do it for now. Take care. See you in hell.